Okay, so we're going to dive into Bentley's training. That way we can set him up for success for the real world. So first thing I want to talk about is we want to reward Bentley to increase the rate of the behavior. So when we keep that in mind, a reward can be food, treats, it can also be praise and petting. So we want to make sure that we are rewarding the behaviors we want to see out of Bentley, and we want to make sure that we also correct the unwanted behaviors. That way we decrease the rate of those behaviors. So we're going to use these training tools and of course food, praise, and petting to make sure Bentley is successful. So let's start with his commands. So heel. Heel means walk next to me on a nice loose leash. So when we ask him to heel, we want him on our left-hand side. The leash should be relaxed. If he tries to walk in front of us, basically his head should be right around our hip to thigh area, give or take obviously when we're taking steps. If he's trying to forge ahead or walk ahead of us, we are going to mark the incorrect behavior or the unwanted behavior with a verbal no. So whenever he does something unwanted or that isn't following the rules, we want to make sure we mark that behavior with a verbal no. Then we are going to follow through with the corrections with the remote collar and the prong collar. Once we've given the correction, then we ask him to heel again. So the pattern is no, correction, heel. Walk next to us on a loose leash. When he is walking well with us, good heel, and then we give a treat. We're also praising him, letting him know he's doing a really good job. If you're walking, absolutely keep treats with you, but if he's doing really well, you can always say good heel, good job, buddy, and praise him to let him know that he is doing the correct behavior. So then we have sit. Sit means stay until he's told free. So for example, doorways, if we're going through a doorway, we're going to have him stop, we're going to have him sit, and then when we're ready to go through the doorway, we can tell him free. Or heel if we want him to walk next to us through the doorway. So free, going to that now, means that he is done with the command. So let's say you're taking him for a walk, we have him in a heel, and it's time for him to sniff, go potty, whatever. We can tell him free, and that's his time to sniff and kind of go around, and he doesn't have to be right on our left-hand side. He can kind of explore a little bit. Free is the universal command of you're done, you can kind of just be a dog and relax. He's still being a dog when he's in command, but this is more freedom. That's why it's called free. So then we're going to move on to down. Down means lay down and stay. It doesn't mean get off of us from jumping up. That would either be no or off. It means lay down and stay until you're told free. Now with any sort of stay, whether it's down or place, which we're going to talk about here in a second, he is not allowed to be freed from a distance. Basically meaning whenever he's in a down stay or a place stay, we are going to go back to him. Like let's say we put him in a down and we walk around, do a distraction. When it's time for him to get up, we always go back to him, reward the down or place behavior, and then tell him free. What this does is it strengthens his down stay, so he understands he's not allowed to get up if we're 20 feet away. That's going to strengthen that. So he understands, okay, I get my reward for being in this position first, then I wait for their command to let me know that I can get up, which is the free command. So then we go to place. So place is going to be utilized when guests come over. So downstay is more of out in public when you don't have a place bed available. Place is going to be in the home. So when your guests come over, you'll see it in the video. They knock, whatever. We tell them to go to place. We make sure he's good to go. The rules of place: there's no barking while on the bed, there's no getting off until he's told free, and there's no chewing on the bed. Eventually he can have a toy or some sort of chew there, but not here in the beginning. We want him to respect the place command. It's a place for him to go and unwind and de-stress and relax. So we don't want him distracted with toys or anything, because then he won't be able to relax. So he goes to place. His job is to stay there. When we reward him for place, we're going to put the treats on the bed. So for sitting down, we can put them directly in his mouth, good sit, good down. For down, I like to reward a little bit lower so he stays down. And then for place, I like to put the treats on the bed because it shows him to look at the bed for treats. This is going to help when people come over, because I want you to have them to toss treats to Bentley to show him that, hey, strangers coming in our home, they're not a threat, they're here to bring you good things. That way he starts to associate strangers are friendly. Strangers bring me food. Strangers aren't scary. I don't need to react scary to strangers. That way he's in the habit of looking on the bed, because if someone tosses a treat, it's not going to land perfect every time, but that way he is used to getting the reward from the bed. Then of course, when it's time for him to get off of the bed, we go to him, good place, and then we tell him free right next to him. We don't tell him from 10 feet away. We tell him when we're right next to him, again, to strengthen that place stay or strengthen that downstay, whatever it is. Then we have come when called. So everything should be on leash at first, of course, with Bentley. You'll see come when called. We practiced it out in the back. He's not in a fenced-in area. He has full, freedom and everything. However, we do have a 25-foot lead that's about the width of a shoelace string on him in case he were not to come back. That way we could step on the leash or whatever, and he wouldn't, take off. Of course, practice everything with a leash first, and only practice come when called when you're by yourself or with people Bentley's already familiar with. So of course, practice with a leash first. Basically, you'll know when you can go to off leash when you don't need to grab the leash for any reason. You can call him back and he comes to you, 9 out of 10 times, and the 10th time he just needed a little correction with the remote collar. That's when you know you can start doing the off leash, is when you've dropped the leash and you don't need it for any recall purposes at all. So those are his commands as far as what we're going to use. Make sure the more we practice them, the better he's going to be with them. So we are going to dive into his remote collar and how to use it. All the other details are going to be at the end of the video, and we're going to go from there. So the thing I really like about this collar is Bentley cannot scratch and accidentally turn it off. So you'll see on the collar itself, there's a little red dot right here. That is a magnetic key. That is a magnet on off. The key to turn on the magnet is on the remote. So if you look at the remote, it's on the side with the antenna on the side. We're gonna touch the two together. So you'll see here in a second, touch, and you get a green light. That green light's gonna flash every few seconds to let you know that the collar is on, charged, and good to go. If I were to touch them again, you'll see here right now, you'll see a red light. That means the collar is off. So when you touch them together, make sure you see that green flashing light before you put this on Bentley. Again, this is to communicate with him when he's done a behavior incorrectly or when he's done an inappropriate behavior, to correct that so he learns from the mistake and he doesn't repeat the behavior again. For example, loose leash walking, he should be in a heel. If he starts to pull ahead, what that does is that puts him in control of the walk. Bentley's a little bit of an insecure dog, so insecure dogs should not be leaders, so we have to be the leader for him. So if he's starting to walk ahead, he's kind of leading the pace. Nope, you need to back up back here so we can show you that nothing's scary and we've got this under control. Now, the remote on-off buttons on the back, we are going to push and hold that until the screen lights up. You can see the screen here is, it's got a blue LED light. He is at level 15 for now. That can change, and I'll show you how to do that at the end of the video. So I'm gonna put this remote collar on my palm. I'm gonna put it on the muscle part right here. And then for Bentley, we are going to use the black S button. S stands for stimulation. It is like a tens unit. So we're working on sit or down stay. If I tell him sit and he doesn't know, correction, sit. Because again, we want to be the leader for him. Our words have meaning. That way he doesn't just blow us off and then again repeat the cycle of he's kind of in control and then he starts to get insecure and then we have reactivity and we don't want that. So no, correction, give the command. So with Bentley, we don't just correct him for being insecure. We always put a command to it. So let's say you're hanging out with Bentley in your house and someone knocks at the door and he barks. That is an appropriate response to a new sound or an unfamiliar, not everyday noise. So we're not going to correct him for barking, but what we are going to do is we're going to put him on place. So, hey, go to place. Now, the rules of place, he understands no barking is allowed on place. So if he barks while on place, we can correct him. So there's a difference between overcorrecting him for normal behaviors or appropriate responses and correcting him for not following the rules. So we want to make sure that's crystal clear. If someone knocks on your door and he barks, that's not enough for correction. You then have to make him either go to place, lay down, do something. Then if he barks again, that's when you can correct because he's not following the rules of the command that he's in. So that's the same thing for heel. He's out in public, no barking while you're in a heel. So if you walk past someone and he barks, then it's an appropriate time to correct him, because you're not correcting him for seeing another person, you're correcting him for not listening to the command. And of course, whenever you pass people in public and he does a really good job, you want to reward that, because strangers aren't scary. We don't want them to be scary at any point. So that is the remote collar. It's pretty simple. Again, all the other details are going to be at the end of the video. We have his prong collar here. To undo the prong collar, you're going to see all the prongs kind of go in one direction and then they go the other direction. I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to push my left thumb down on this part right here, and then at an angle, pop the links apart. Then to put them together, you're just going to squeeze this one, and you'll put it in and squeeze the prongs. You cannot try and put it in this way and pull down. It will not work. You have to squeeze this prong and put the prong in that way. The leash will attach to the D-ring, or just make sure it looks like a triangle like so. Whenever you're using this, it is a quick pop and release, pop and release. So we're going to talk about his muzzle here in a second. Sometimes he wants to try and use his paw to get it off. You would say no, pop, 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 until he stops trying to get the muzzle off. We've worked on getting him to like this, but of course it's still wearing something on his face. He's still a little like, oh, I want to try and get it off, because the very first day or two he was able to get the muzzle off, but after that first time he was able to get it off, he could not get it off again because I sized it then correctly. I just didn't have it right. So we're going to use this again to correct unwanted behavior when he's on the leash. So the muzzle, when he's walking, it is a little bit of a challenge to give him treats. What I like to do is have a treat in my pointer finger and my thumb, and to give them the treat, what I do with these three fingers is I hook the muzzle up, and then I put the treat into the bottom right here so he can eat the bottom opening right here. You'll know it's the bottom because at the top, this is the strap that goes between his eyes on his forehead. So again, when we're walking and I have the treat like this, I go whoop, and I kind of pull the muzzle up with my ring finger and or middle finger, and then I put the treat in this way. I've tried up top, but his nose gets in the way, so underneath is typically easier. Walking and giving him a treat while he's wearing his muzzle is not easy, but you can do it. You just might have to bend over a little bit and kind of help him out with that little hook and give him a treat in the bottom part of his muzzle. So this Baskerville muzzle, you size it, and then it's a quick snap. Some of them are belt buckle style. We'll just have to see which one he has at home. So he should wear this whenever he's encountering new people, especially. Once he's shown us that he can be trustworthy and reliable and he's not going to be reactive, we can start working with the muzzle off. However, safety is the #1 priority. We do not want to give him a bite, because then if he's confident biting, we're, kind of done for after that, because it's really hard once he's nailed somebody and been successful to reverse that. So luckily he really hasn't been, other than that one situation, and it really wasn't too crazy. So this is just to keep everybody safe and comfortable. Okay, so that's it for the start of Bentley's training video. Everything else is going to be at the end. So now we're going to show you all of Bentley's commands in action.
elbow. We are committed to your safety while visiting our store. We continue to resupply our store daily with product inventory to ensure you have the items you need. Though some items may be limited. We appreciate you visiting Lowe's and look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a Lowe's Day Day.
Daddy? Oh, is it? Okay, I got you.
I think so.
What is it? A bird boxer?
It's a toss-up, really.
That's what mine is.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Thank you.
Oh, training.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. He'll get used to me. I have dog biscuits. Yes. He'll get better. I have one that loves people. He just doesn't love other animals. He loves them to death. Yes. You're good.
Yeah, we've made a lot of progress.
I can tell. Yeah. That's a good boy. Uh-huh.
Go ahead and step back this way so I can figure out how to do it easily.
Here's my.
Come. Good boy. Come here. Bentley, come here. No. Sit. Good boy. Free. You're free. Free. Come. Good boy. Sit. Good job. Good sit. Heel. No. Heel.
I'll turn.
On your way back, you like a little hesitate.
Look at that. I said something back in the drone. The droid. That's what you guys were training, so you can have, I said, wouldn't that be cool? Good boy.
We'll do one more.
Oh. Got it any.
Good job. Thank you so much for coming over. Place. Nope. Place. Good boy. Free. Good job, Bentley. Good boy. Good boy. Exactly.
Okay, so let's go over the rest of the features of Bentley's remote collar. So we've turned on the collar. We can turn off the collar, again, just touching the two red dots. Red light means off, green light means on. So the rest of his remote collar, it's got a lot of features. So we're gonna start with the red S button. The red S button is the boost feature. Haven't needed this for Bentley, but you might when you get to the point of practicing like off-leash training, like we said, on leash first. So basically what this does is it raises the level in a quick second if he is at a point of adrenaline where the normal correction's not working. Let's say, for example, you're practicing in an environment and something runs by that really catches his attention. When dogs are distracted like that, their adrenaline's pumping and he might not be able to feel regular 15. So what you would do is press the red S button. It's red for emergencies only, and it will boost him to level 30. You would then push this as many times as you need to get his attention back to you. It's going to be a pretty big jump. It's double what his normal correction level is, so that should be enough to snap him out of whatever he's distracted by, and then you call him back to you. Remember, whenever you call him back to you, you are the fun guy. So when you say come and he comes to you, praise him, good boy, maybe take a couple steps back and then have him sit, reward that good behavior. You never punish him or correct him when he comes to you. Again, you're always the positive one. Corrections, if they need to happen out there, and then I'm fun, I'm the party, because why would he run to us if he's going to get another correction? I wouldn't. So we have to make sure, even if he didn't do well enough to earn a treat, he still gets praise and, hey, good job, thanks for coming to me, free, go try it again. So then the other button, so we've gone over the boost, emergencies only. You would probably never use this in a situation where he's around other people. Don't think you'd ever need to use that. I think that would cause more harm than good. So again, around anybody or any triggers or anything, we're just going to use the standard button. If that's not enough to stop unwanted behavior, we then use the prong collar. We do not do the boost in those situations. So this is vibrate, this T button over here. You can hear the collar vibrating. I haven't used this really. Sometimes it's too much for dogs because it's one tone vibrate. Other times it's not enough. So I don't really use it a whole lot. Maybe in the future, maybe like a year or two from now when he's doing really well and he just needs like a warning, vibrate instead of the stimulation. So going to the future, his level right now is 15. That can fluctuate. So at certain times I thought, oh, maybe 15's a little too much because he would give a really big neck twitch, but then other times it would like not faze him. And his hair is not super thick, so it's not that the hair is clumping up and he just can't feel it. It's just certain times he reacts differently. So if 15 tends to be too much, where he's like showing mega discomfort, we can turn it down. Right now you'll see the level will not change because it's locked. To unlock it, push down and hold for a couple seconds, then let go. You'll see the 1D is flashing, and then you can turn the level down or up to whatever Bentley needs. So like if 15 tends to be too much, I would try then 12. If 15's not enough, you can go to 18 or 20. I don't see him needing that, but it's an option. Then once you have it on the level you want to keep it at, you want to lock it so we don't accidentally turn it too high or too low. To lock it, push down and hold until the 1D is solid. Once the 1D is solid and not flashing, it's good to go. Back here we have the on-off button to turn the remote on and off. So when you turn the collar on, it just turns the collar on. You then have to manually turn the remote on. Instead of pushing and holding it to turn the remote off, if you tap it, you can see Bentley at night. It's just a cool flashlight feature. It says on-off button / light. So instead of pushing and holding to turn this off, tap, 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 turn the light on, and then turn the light off. The M/C button right here, you don't have to worry about it. It changes the settings from momentary to continuous. He does not need continuous at this time. Then back here we have the charging port. You just want to make sure that's closed to keep all the debris out. This is waterproof. This is also waterproof, meaning he can go swimming and wear this. But if he does get wet or go swimming or anything, you want to make sure you take the collar off and dry his hair and his skin thoroughly. If you don't and he wears this for too long with water underneath of it, it can cause a rash, like bacteria can grow, and we don't want him to get a hot spot. So he can wear this all day, every day, 10 to 12 hours a day, take it off at night. We have the quick release bungee strap, making it easy to put on and take off. It also has a little bit of give, so we're not going to put it too tight. It does have to be snug though, so the contact points make good connection with his skin. The charging port is underneath here. It should last about 2 days on a charge as long as you turn it off at night. I'm going to turn everything off, so I'm going to turn that off. Push and hold the on-off button back here. Perfect. And then move the prong collar. So in here we have the charging cable. We also have extender prongs. He doesn't have super long thick hair, so we don't really need those. And then this tool right here is to tighten the prongs on the remote collar. You shouldn't really need it unless you had to change to the longer ones, but again, his hair's not really that long or thick. Underneath here is his instruction manual if you want to go over all the buttons in greater detail. Great instructions here. This collar has a 2-year full warranty, and again, waterproof. If anything happens to the collar in the next 2 years, basically you want to register it under the warranty. So you want to send them an email letting you know that you bought this unit, and they'll probably ask you a few questions about it, and then it's covered under the warranty. Oh, this is the original strap that came with it. I like the bungee because again, it has that give and it's consistent and it's easier to get on. This one, if he's, sitting or standing a certain way, it might be tight enough then, but then when he gets up and moves around, it might be too loose and then he can't feel it. And if it's too loose, it'll rub, creating a possibility for irritation marks, and we don't want that. So that is all of his training equipment. You want to stay consistent. He should wear this every day. He should wear this every walk. And then sometimes in the house when he needs the leash on, especially when you're having guests over, he should have a leash on. That way you can stay consistent and follow through with your commands. Again, reward the behaviors you like. You're going to increase the rate of those behaviors. Correct the unwanted behaviors to decrease the rate of those behaviors. The more important thing is, have fun, know his limits to be successful with him, push him a little bit every day. He can do this, you can do this, he's gonna have fun, and stay consistent. And then Bentley's gonna be set up for success.